In the past month alone, I read 6 books. And one of the biggest questions that you probably have, and I had as well before, is how can you do such thing in 2024? One, without being distracted, and two, with assuring that it is the best way that you can learn what you want to learn from that book. So, beginning with, I always thought, especially with this era of technology, that books are absolutely outdated. If you want to learn, probably you should use something like videos, YouTube videos. I thought that's it, the actual revolution, and why I will read something that was there for thousands of years. Although this might seem actually reasonable, like why would I read a book with no animation, no visuals, just pure text? And some books are actually ancient, probably more than 100 years, while I can watch the resumes at YouTube. So for years I thought so, for about 7 years to be more specific. Since I was 14, when I discovered what is the actual meaning of YouTube and social media and videos online, I became what so addicted can be described. After that, I realized that watching YouTube videos or videos in general can give me a lot of dopamine to my head, which might sound very great, especially instantly, but I wouldn't say it's the best option on a long-term plan, for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is that having a lot of dopamine sources without including the dopamine sources of which you actually put effort into. As an example, if you work, you will get dopamine. If you train, you will get dopamine. Those are dopamine sources. You will get the dopamine, but as well, you will get the other side, which is work, which is the results of the activities that you have to undertake. It's actual difficulty that gives us dopamine on a general basis. But videos, it's not very difficult to watch a YouTube video. You're sitting, there's no physical activity, there's no mental activity. You're just there as a spectator, which is, if being honest, grand scheme of human life, is not the best trait, it's not the best characteristic to be characterized with. So, obviously, in basically in the 6 books that I read this month, all of them talk about focus. Losers call it obsession. They thought you're obsessed, but you're actually just focusing your energy, your time, your resources to just one thing and one thing only, of which you actually truly believe in it. So 1 month ago, before I started on this learning streak with books, there's a fact of which I think it's worth mentioning, is that the last book that I read before that was about 1.5 years before that. So for 18 months, I didn't read a single book. Then when I started reading, I read 6 in one book, in 1 month. So the point I'm actually making here is that there is a secret of which I have discovered. So here's the story. About 1 month ago, exactly 1 month and a few days, probably 3, I decided to analyze myself. Just like any business would actually analyze themselves with any way or mean. They track the transactions, the income, the outcome, everything, the inputs and the outputs. I realized that I have to do it with my habits, with my life, with everything that I do throughout the day, of which I think that will affect my life. Because just like a business, I might not have the income or the outcome of a business, but I truly have the income and the outcome when it comes to habits and what I actually do and the activities that I undertake. So I tracked 18 habits of my life for the past 30 months. We're talking about 4 trimesters a year for 3.5 years. Since 2021 January, I tracked all of that, 18 different metrics covering basically every habit that I thought it will have an effect or another on my life. And believe it or not, I actually found out that each one of them had a pure effect on my life, because I went to the best period on that 30 months, and I said, what do these months have in common? It was about 6 months, 2 trimesters, and I found that they're almost identical. There's just few changes. Then I went to the worst period in those 30 months, and I said, okay, how can I find a conclusion to what is the best habits that I can have? And imagine with me, just give me your thoughts. I found that the worst period has the opposite answers to the best period of my life when it comes to the 18 metrics of which I tracked. Then I got those 18 metrics with the optimal situation for each one of them, and I made it into a to-do list, a daily to-do list. One of them was actually reading. So since that day, I haven't missed a day. It's about 31 days or 32 days since then, and I haven't missed a single day since then. And right now I have read about 6 books just in 1 month. So I'm gonna conclude this with a book which is Elon Musk's book. It's a biography of him. And when Elon Musk was young, he was always described as a book, I wouldn't say a book nerd, but I would say someone who reads books a lot. And once you focus on the lines, he says that everything that I have done, so all of the inventions and the company ideas, all of them are somewhat inspired by a book or two that he has read.